Happy 2025. Are you excited? It's a new year. It's a time to come up with new resolutions, and welcome to Africa. And I'm excited to share with you on this video on the top 10 African countries that should be on your bucket list. It's a new year, and I was so excited by the end of 2024, seeing how people were exploring different places. You know, like 2024, so many things were going on, and that has led me to coming up with a list of 2025 countries, 2025 countries you should definitely have on your bucket list. It's the season where everyone is going ahead with writing their vision board, manifesting or writing all the things of the places that you want to visit. And if you don't have Africa on your list, I'm like, you're sleeping on it. The continent, that's where it's at. And this video is happily sponsored by Dusted Travels, which is a place that we help you explore and see our beautiful continent, Africa. So I'm gonna leave all those details. If you want an itinerary, you want your planned trip, and you want some consultation, guidance, connections with contacts here, hotel booking, all those kind of assistance, in the description box I have left an email. Feel free to reach out, as well as a number. Feel free to reach out, and I'm excited. So without further ado, let's go down into the top 10 African countries that should be on your bucket list this year, and let's see what country makes it to be number one. Now, in case you're wondering what criteria I used, I'm going to explain that in a minute, and even a minute to explain on who I am. I am Queen Desta, and for the last 5 years or more, I have been traveling the continent of Africa to many countries, and this enables me to have so much information on advising you on where you should be able to visit or where you shouldn't be able to visit. An example, in 2024 had the most countries that were undergoing elections. So it was very important for you to be able to do your maths right, know what's happening in that country, even as you look to visit those countries. Not all countries qualify to be traveled in any country, in any year. I don't want to speak examples, but today we are going to be focusing on 4 criteria that you're going to be using. The first one has to be the uniqueness of experiences. That goes to be the wildlife, that would be like the safaris, that would be the culture, different kind of foods. The second has to be the safety and travelability of the country, and that is, does the country able to give me a way to go and move freely within the country, and are you able to do the things that you have purposed to go to? That has to be flights and the routes to that country, and that as well as the visas. Which of this country is easy for the most? On this channel, I try to aspire and inspire more Africans, African Americans, and African diasporans, and everyone that associates themselves as an African, on how it's easy for them to get like their flights and visa. So you get what I mean? Like, is it easy for us in that way to get the flights and the visa? And other aspect criteria has to be the safety of the country. How safe is it within the year 2025, having looked into all the things that will be happening in these respective countries that we are going to talk about. And lastly, I got feedback from some of my clients that I have been helping to travel around Africa, as well as people that are solo travelers and group trips. And stick around because we have much more on that. Without further ado, now that I have gained your confidence on why I can tell you the 10 African countries to visit, buckle up, let's get started. Kicking off our list is Benin, which is a West African country, majorly because of its stunning coastline, vibrant markets, and rich cultural heritage. We already established that the media did not paint right pictures for us, and the reason why Benin is number 10 on my list is it's one of the countries that I have visited in West Africa, but really surprised me. It is very clean. Wow, one of the mysterious or the myths or the things that are said about Benin, or many people know about Benin, is about the voodoo, but Benin has way much more to offer, from the hospitality of the people to the experiences that are there. And I can't wait for you guys to watch my Benin experience, which are the videos that I'm currently uploading. But let me tell you, Benin people are very friendly, and therefore that makes it a destination. And then also there's like beautiful warm beaches. And as I've said, Benin to me is one of the cleanest, it's the cleanest country in West Africa. We can bet and fight in the comment section down below. and they have good food. The people are friendly, and it is also developing at a very high speed, and therefore being able to see the country, like there's now more places in terms of hotels and the places that people stay. Therefore, I'm sure in 2025 it's going to give you a good experience as you go there. It's not as expensive to explore and stuff like this. So Benin also should be on your list, because you also get to, if you're an African American and you'd like to see a more well presented history in terms of our people and stuff like this, Benin has a great area that shows that, the gate of no return and everything. It's amazing to see a diverse way of how people live. At number 9, we have Rwanda, a country or land of 1,000 hills, and definitely because of the breathtaking landscapes, the vibrant culture, incredible wildlife, and the cleanliness of this country, had to make it to the list. Rwanda had to make it to the list, one, because it was for the longest one of our favorite countries that I visited, and it's the cleanest country in Africa. Well, it also has like days that are set aside just to clean the city. There's more activities of like car-free days. It's a good environment if you want to live. It's more chill, relaxed, not compared to some other countries, and it's also not as slow as other countries. Infrastructure is there sufficient enough to meet your needs. The country doesn't have a lake because it's a landlocked, no, it has a lake, but it doesn't have an ocean because it's a landlocked country. But if you're willing to visit, there's like the gorilla trekking. There's just so many things that you can also do in Rwanda as you look to explore. The people are very friendly, the culture is amazing, they are beautiful. Their beautiful dresses, and of course we cannot fail to talk about beautiful women of Rwanda. Yeah, so number 8. Number 8 takes us to Egypt, a land of ancient wonders and timeless magic. And we definitely will have to visit the pyramids, as well as take a nice river cruise at the River Nile. Egypt is an interesting conversation. I have always had my own reservations and reasons why Egypt was never on my list, but now I'm getting to be like, I should not let those issues, which we should talk about it in another video, I should not let those issues prevent me from being able to experience one, the pyramid, as well as all the black people and our history that is very deep in Egypt. Therefore, Egypt should definitely be on your list. This was highly recommended by some of the people in our community, the feedback of the people that have visited Egypt, and therefore Egypt made it to the list, and I can't wait to make it there. Coming in at number 7, we have Senegal, which is a country in West Africa with a full spirit of what it means to be West African, very rich in its history and cultural heritage, and very beautiful beaches and tasty food. Senegal makes it to the list because of the delicious food. You know, if you've heard about West Africa, you definitely have heard about the jollof rice between Ghana jollof rice and the Nigeria jollof rice, and you should definitely go to Senegal and know the reason why Senegal is not part of this competition is because they're already winning when it comes to the food and the culture. Therefore, Senegal should definitely be on your bucket list. The other interesting thing is it's very accessible, especially when we think about flights that are coming into Africa. It's one of the closest countries from, especially from people coming from America, the Caribbean, and all those places. Yes, it's one of the countries that's easy to access. Apart from that, in Senegal, you also get to experience some of our African and African Americans history, and our culture is very deep over there. Despite the fact that they speak French, you will definitely have a good experience. Coming in at number 6, Zimbabwe. Well, we could also say Zimbabwe and Zambia because they are the home to the majestic Victoria Falls, and you'll have a breathtaking nature experience as well as incredible wildlife. I'm sure I said Zimbabwe, but it's because this should actually come as Zimbabwe and Zambia, because in a concept that I teach people on Destar Travels is about country combination, which is something that we should consider, and I will happily maybe explain in another video what this means in case you don't know, and just give you a few hints on what country combinations when you're going to travel looks like. But Zimbabwe and Zambia is definitely should be on your list, so you can go and see Mosi of Tunya. This is one of the places that really made me tear because of this waterfall. It's very massive, and just also being able to see what even people that came and gave it a whole other name were able to see. And it's high time that we now see these things for ourselves, explore, see areas we can invest, see how we can move and utilize and embrace our things and stuff like this. Anyway, Zambia and Zimbabwe will give you a great experience, and there's also a combination of wildlife even after experiencing the waterfall experience. But that is just one of my biggest highlights in these two countries, and the people there are very friendly. You will love it. Yes, let me know in the comment section down below if you'd be interested in me giving you tips or showing you in Africa countries that you can combine, because this has been one of my biggest tips when it comes to traveling in Africa. I'll be happy to share. Now we are getting into the top 5. Let me tell you, this was a very tough one because these countries in this list are superpower countries. They are big countries. They are countries that have way so many things to offer. And listen, I'm sure you knew that this country is coming forth. Give it up for number 5. At number 5 has to be Ethiopia, which is a country that now has so many new things to be explored, as well as an interesting culture, diverse community, way much more. I could go on and on. Ethiopia has really changed. If you ever visited Ethiopia, let's say before 2024 February, going back, then let me tell you, you should definitely put Ethiopia on your list again, because this country has evolved. It has evolved. It has become like a whole new country. It has developed. It's clean. Listen, the last time I was there, just a few days ago, like maybe months now, I was impressed. Like, I was so fascinated. There's just so many places to visit, even Addis Ababa. And even to give you like a hint, you know, the time that you get to layover, because many Africans and people coming into Africa get a chance to go to Ethiopia through Addis Ababa, you can always schedule. I can't help myself but share some tips with you guys. You can always schedule an extension of your layover and be able to experience the country, even if it's for like 24 hours. If you want more tips on that, that's why you need to consult me, so I can show you some ways on how you can do that better in more effective ways, because I learned that so many people don't know how to go about on your booking your flight, so you can continue enjoying the layover. Anyway, and you know, like, even sometimes if you know how to do it right, it comes with accommodation. It just depends how you go about with your planning and stuff like this. Anyway, that was not the point. The point was Ethiopia should definitely be on your list. Ethiopia has so many things to offer when it comes to culture, when it comes to food, when it comes to just a whole different vibe of Africa. I love Ethiopia because it does things very different from us. Even as we are talking about New Year, Ethiopia is 7 years behind. They celebrate their New Year's in September. And therefore, this is a culture that you should definitely visit. And on that note, I am very excited to share with you guys that our first group trip, can't believe I'm saying this, our first group trip where we are joining together, people joining me as we explore a country, is gonna be in Ethiopia. In February, we are going to be traveling to Ethiopia, and feel free to join. Not feel free, you are welcomed to join, and let's go and explore this beautiful country. The poster, I'm gonna be sharing it in the community tab, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss out. I'm excited to show people the love that I got to experience in Ethiopia. And many people ask me, why did you even consider moving to Ethiopia? Let me tell you, it's because of all these factors. Therefore, Ethiopia had to make it to the list. But I know you guys, you are not waiting to see what will be my number 1 country of recommendation. So keep on watching and subscribe. Also, you can write me instead of us fighting, because I know someone will be like, no, the number 1 country should be this and this. You can write down in the comment section down below your top 10, and then we can compare notes and see which one we agree on and which one we do not agree on. When it comes to visiting Kenya, I would say 2 must places now to visit has to be Nairobi, and if you want the beach experience, Lamu or Mombasa stroke Diani is a perfect place to explore. But Kenya has so many things in store. Number 4 has to be Kenya. And listen, Kenya is a beautiful country. In terms of the development, it's a great place if you're considering to move, if you're looking into exploring this country to visit. We have the beaches, we have wildlife. It's an amazing time, and according to research and stuff like this, most of the times the best times to visit is during the immigration of the wildlife, if you're interested in the safaris, but also if you're interested in an African culture experience of meeting people, you know, like all these African countries are, right? But Kenya is I would say Kenya is a good country in terms of if you don't necessarily want to go to a whole arrival with culture shocks and different things, all those things combined, Kenya has so many things to offer, and therefore should definitely be on your list. And before you think I'm biased, I'm just gonna leave Kenya at that. But I cannot fail to tell you that we normally do organize travels to, you know, like Nairobi, Kenya has the national park here, like the only national park in the city, and we do offer safaris for you to experience your first safari. And let me tell you, the thing about safaris is you think you know it until you experience it, and you have a greater appreciation of it. It's an experience that cannot be passed by words. You have to try it yourself in order to be able to get it. And without further ado, give it up to our top 3 countries. Are you already guessing by now what are our top 3 countries? In my attempt of not being biased, I made it my business to make sure that the top 3 encompasses the different regions of Africa. That is from the East Africa, West Africa, southern part of Africa were my leading categories to make it to the top 3. Definitely, even before we get into the top 3, remember all African countries are open to visit. Like, I've visited some of the countries that I never even knew existed. I'd give you an example, Somaliland. Like, you know, like people still think it's Somalia, but that's a whole other discussion that we can have another day. But our list now leads us to the top 3. South Africa for the longest has been known to be one of the most developed countries in Africa, but their views is also very spectacular and worth to visit. South Africa, highly recommend. South Africa, even just the views of the things that you keep watching online should give you reasons to definitely visit South Africa. If not, at least have it on your bucket list. Remember, you're not limited to dreaming. You can dream of all these countries actually, but make sure you add South Africa on the list. Of course, Cape Town, because it's the bottom part of Africa. That should definitely be one thing that you consider to do, as well as other places in South Africa. And then remember to utilize the aspect of country combination and get to visit Lesotho and Eswatini just because they are inside South Africa. Number 2 takes us to Ghana, which stands to be one of my favorite African country to visit for solo travelers, especially Black female solo travelers. Ghana is a country that I really felt welcoming and friendly, especially for anyone considering to do solo travel. If you're not wanting to join like a group trip or stuff like this, going to Ghana should definitely be one of the countries that you're considering to visit easily. 1, because they speak English. 2, because they are very friendly. Safety levels of even pickpocketing and stuff like this is on a minimal. And according to my experience, Ghana was one of the easiest countries to maneuver through, and this I highly recommend for solo travelers as well as female Black travelers. That Ghana, they will have an easier travel experience compared to other African countries, and this is majorly just based on my own experience. Also, we cannot forget to speak about Ghana is one of the countries. Ghana is one of the countries. I just remembered something very interesting. I'll tell you in a few. Ghana is one of the countries that celebrates Black people so much from even the times of Kwame Nkrumah from way days ago, and therefore, because it has a welcoming aspect to home, we definitely should visit Ghana. I just remembered since the beginning of 2025, which actually leads Ghana to being so high on this list, is in 2025, Ghana was made visa-free for all Africans. Basically, you can just sleep and decide to go to Ghana. Well, don't quote me. Don't listen to that as a Bible verse, because I haven't. I'm still trying to. The people that had booked for Ghana, I had to like help them apply for visas in countries that they did need a visa. But the news came and it's exciting, and I'm excited to go deeper into that. Maybe on a video we should come and address the realities of Ghana being visa free and how that is going about. But definitely that says the dream of Africa being visa free is kind of coming to reality. And that brings us to country number 1. Drum rolls, drum rolls. Before I tell you the last one, I have some few honorable mentions that I have to mention, and it has to be DRC Congo. just because this country has experienced so much of being taken away from. I feel like we need to explore it way much more so we can get to know it more. Another country is Angola. I feel like we have not necessarily, we are sleeping on this country. Just because they speak Portuguese doesn't mean it doesn't have way much more things to offer. Let me know more bonuses I'm sure many people have left in the comment section down below, and that brings us to the winner of this must have on your to-do list, or at least in your bucket list in 2025, has to be, drum rolls, Tanzania. Without being biased, my leading country on the list has to be Tanzania because of how beautiful it is. It has the biggest, tallest mountain in Africa, very beautiful beaches, the wildlife is top notch. There's just so much that Tanzania has to offer. Also, it's very big as a country. Tanzania specifically, let's say Zanzibar, because this country has so many things to offer from different places. Let's just say Tanzania, it has different things to offer from different places. Their beach experience is just a whole experience on its own. In terms of culture, Tanzanians are very deep in their culture. When it comes to even like the mountainous, Kilimanjaro is the tallest mountain in Africa, and it is found in Tanzania. Therefore, Tanzania has way many things to offer in terms of wildlife. When you go to like Serengeti, you get to have a whole safari experience, which is amazing, and it's great. The development of Tanzania too is on a very great height, great rise, even moving in between places. The electric SGR and those kind of experiences. We have ships, we have ferries, we have there's flights. Means of transport within the country is also very easy, and people are very welcoming as well. The food is tasty. Therefore, my concluding list has to be Tanzania, and I hope this list has guided you as you look into Africa and even the places that you should visit. Now, definitely we should come back and talk about, this was more on the tourism part of traveling, but now I'm realizing there's way much more to traveling than just the touristy aspect. We have to look at traveling in terms of investment. We have to look at traveling in terms of understanding who we are as a people, experiencing our own people and stuff like this, which I'm excited to continue on this discussion. Remember, we are going on our group trips, which is gonna be exciting. Stay tuned on Desert Travels. Check it on Instagram, and I'll also be sharing here and there on my videos, so you can stay in tune on what trips will be happening. But our starting country has to be Ethiopia in February, and let's do it, guys. Otherwise, always remember to create time for that which ignites your soul. Until the next one, bye for now. Happy 2025.